my computer. All right, good. All right, so we'll start in chapter 15. Chapter 15 is on probability. Just checking, can everybody hear me? Good. All right, so on probability. So here's how we start. We start by talking about the sample space and sample point. This says a statistical experiment is an experiment in which the outcome cannot be predicted exactly. A statistical experiment is an experiment in which the outcome cannot be predicted exactly. Now, an experiment can result in many different outcomes. Each possible outcome in a statistical experiment is called a sample point. So later on, you might hear words like events and observation. Those are words you would have learned from the CSEC level or the ADMATH level. But here they're saying each possible outcome in a statistical experiment is called a sample point. This says a sample space is a list, and this is important. A sample space is a list of all possible outcome in a statistical experiment. So let's just highlight this a little. All right, so the sample space S is a list of all possible outcome in a statistical experiment. So just listing all the possible outcomes, we call that list of all possible outcomes the sample space. And one outcome in a sample space is called a sample point. Now, the number of sample points or number of possible outcomes in a sample space is denoted NS. Example 1. All right, so let's have a look at examples 1, 2, and 3. All right, so example 1 says, what is the sample space when 3 coins are tossed? And what is the number of outcomes of this experiment? Well, first of all, for me, the sample space S would be, I want to list it. I sort of wanted to list it down. So if 3 coins are tossed, I could get what? Head, head, head. I could get head, head, tail. I could get head, tail, head. I could get head, tail, tail. I could get tail, head, head. No. Yeah, it's not the same thing. Then I have what? Tail, head, tail. I could get tail, tail, head, and tail, tail, tail. And so the number of possible outcome in the sample space is 8. Any problems? No. Number 2 says a bag contains 4 markers colored red, orange, green, and black. 1 marker is drawn from the bag. Each marker has the same chance of being selected. And then it says, what is the sample space? So the sample space S is a list of all the possible outcomes. What are my possible outcomes? I could get red. I could get an orange. I could get green. And I could get a black. If I select only 1 marker, these are my possible outcomes. The number of sample points in the sample space is 4. Example 3 says, let's was this Nirav or Nirav, has a bag with 4 marbles of different colors, red, green, blue, and yellow. He decides to take 2 of the marbles out of the bag as follows. A, he takes 1 marble out, notes the color of this marble, and then replace the marble. In other words, he takes out, note the color, and then put it back in the bag. Takes the second marble and notes the color. All right, for A and B, we're to identify the sample space and the number of sample points. So for A, the sample space S could be red, red. Now it's possible to get 2 red because he took the marble out, note the color, and then put it back, don't it? So I could then dip again back in the bag and still come up with a second, without what, the red again. So I could get red, red. You could get what? Red, what's the next color? Green. You could get red, blue. And you could get red, the last color, yellow. So this is if these outcomes are if the first what color that I draw is red. If the first color was green, I could get green, green. I could get green, red. I could get green, blue, and I could get green, yellow. I could get blue, blue. I could get blue, red. I could get blue, green, and I could get blue, yellow. I could get yellow, 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 red, yellow, blue, and yellow, green. Sorry. So this is a total of the number of elements in the sample space, or the number of outcomes in the sample space, or the number of sample points in the sample space is 16. All right, let's see what's happening in B. In B, Nirav decides to take out the first marble, note the color, and then take out the second. So in the second, for B, he did not replace the marble. So there's no possibility of getting the same color twice. So the sample space in this case is, you could get red, green, red, blue. You could get what? Red, yellow. And this is if your first color is red. You could get green, red, green, blue, and green, yellow. You could get blue, red, blue, green, and blue, yellow. You could get yellow, you could get yellow, red, yellow, blue, and you could get yellow, green. So this looks like the number of elements in the sample space, or the number of outcomes or sample points is 12.